Are you ready for the Fortnite Championship Series Grand Finals? This video breaks down the big three regions, EU, NA East, and NA West, and we're going to talk about the top two performing duos from each heat, talk about their potential, see if we can determine who's going to win these games, and just as a general overview, the Grand Finals are just like the heats and just like the finals for any respective week. It's 6 games. For these regions, though, it's only going to be 48 teams. So there is going to be 4 less potential eliminations on the board. Really shouldn't play too big of an effect, but we'll see if someone can break the trend and win a grand finals while being contested at their major POI. So I'll go ahead, talk about EU, NA East, and NA West. If you want to jump to a specific region, I'll have the times down below in the description. So just click on one of those if you're trying to watch an individual one. But let's get right into it and see what we got. Neither Andilex nor nayte is a stranger to the big stage. They've both performed in multiple other formations, whether it be squads, trios, or as solos. These two are amazing as solo players and have seemed to start to put it together here towards the end of duos. I would be afraid to run into these guys, especially when they're coming out with stacked loot. Hardfind and Astro have proved that this entire FNCS was no fluke. They've been one of the most consistent teams, and during their heat, really proved that they have the ability to compete with anyone. Whether it be Astro popping off, Hardfind making clutch plays, these two are definitely ready to compete for the grand finals and grab not only the prize, but the top spot and bragging rights as the best duo in EU. Now, Drobin and Bobo, even though you see Gallon on the screen, were able to be extremely consistent and win EU Heat 4. Now, these guys consistently placed well in almost every single game and can be shown to get elims here. Now, Drobin was part of the team that won squads, so we're looking for the repeat here, and let's see if him and Bobo can go ahead and continue that trend and win this grand finals. Janniz and Tayson put up the most impressive performance in any of the heats that we're speaking about today. They won 3 out of the 6 games, which is honestly unprecedented. They landed steamy stacks and have a great loot path as well as end game ability. We'll see if they can continue their hot streak or if it was a one-time fluke. If I had to guess, though, these two have been performing the entire tournament of FNCS, and they're definitely a team to watch out for. It's no surprise that in Heat 1, Kiryache and letwike stormed through the 6 games and started off hot with an 11 elim win to start off their heat. Originally, they were contested at Slurpy, but after a couple of games, that team decided to go elsewhere. Now, their flopper strategy and fishing makes them more consistent and gives them a chance to win any game. We'll see how they do in the grand finals. Stompy and Aqua have been one of the favorites and one of the most dominant duos, especially known for their high ground pressure and ability to win games once they are on the high ground. You see them here taking high ground and winning this game, being contested by the previous duo we just spoke about. These two have the ability to win it all, especially because there's a chance that they're not contested at Grotto tomorrow. If left alone, these two have a potential to win multiple games out of the 6. They've consistently been winning games, and if they get zone, no one will be stopping these guys. So they're a heavy favorite going in, potentially to win it all. We'll have to see how it turns out in the grand finals. Win game 6? Check. Pop off for 8 elims? Check. Primzhy and Versa literally qualified in their last game. Now, they may have not needed to win the game, but popping off in game 6 for the dub and 8 elims definitely gets you into the grand finals. With that kind of potential, hey, anything's possible for these two. And finally, bringing up the rear in EU, Clusia and Thomus HD are sheer veterans in the scene. If you've been following Fortnite competitively for any amount of time, you'll know who these two names are. Now, we'll see if they can use that knowledge, that experience to continue their great play into the grand finals, or is it a tough time for them? If I had to guess, they'll be doing pretty well. The center of the map is controlled by Booga and Stretched, and unlike most teams, they look to play mid-ground or low ground to win games. Now, don't get me wrong, they can play height, but this team has a different strategy than most, and when these two get together, I'd watch out. Well, if you're going through the middle, look for some Booga or Stretched. Cazz and Crimz are not a duo to mess around. They went ahead, won 2 out of 6 of their games in their heat, and finished right behind Calc and Clix. These two know how to play endgames, know how to play together, and more importantly, know how to win. So watch out for these two as they look to repeat their performance in heats in the finals. Love them or hate them, Clix and Calc are two of the best individual players in the scene. And it's starting to appear that these two are getting to put it all together just at the right time. You know, strike while the iron's hot. Well, these two just won their heat and are ready to absolutely dominate the grand finals. We'll see if they can get together, play as a duo, and do just that. Around this time last year, people are only starting to realize who Dubs and Mega were. They took over during World Cup, and have since been just as dominant as a duo, a trio, a squad, whatever they've played. These two have continued to succeed. So watch out for them as we know their synergy is strong. Haz and Avery are a duo that everyone needs to watch out for. They may not be the most well known, but that doesn't mean that they're not coming right for the throat of the top players in the team, or in the league. We can see that they not only have performed in heats, but also in the individual weeks. These guys are looking to put themselves on the map and make a permanent place for them in the Fortnite scene. HighSky and Commandment started off FNCS on quite a bit of a lull. They didn't really start to hit peak form until recently, and now that they just came in second in their heat, I'd watch out for these two as they've been an expected favorite ever since the beginning of duos. Scoped and tfue don't need too much of an introduction. tfue's been one of the biggest names since competitive Fortnite started, and Scoped has exploded onto the scene just recently as one of the best players and definitely one of the best controller players. These two tend to love to hop on high ground, hold that position, and just dominate a game. If given the Grotto uncontested, which they might be, this team is going to be a huge problem. Now, if they have some struggles getting out of early game and lose a couple to early game fights, we'll see if this team can keep it together and play through some of that difficulty. Blake and Assault have improved week after week. Well, their overall standings may not show it. Their gameplay and their ability to close games has definitely shown. Now, they won their heat, and, you know, anything can happen, but these two, when given high ground, with that grappler and the mythic AR, are a force to deal with on height. Wavyjacob and Thomus represent Controller Gang out west. These two are known for their aggressive playstyle, but honestly have proven that they're much more than just a W key. They're clearly able to play endgames and are able to take advantage of all the controller mechanics, but prove themselves to be good players regardless of whether or not they play with plastic sticks. Arkhram and Andrew may be two younger players, but they've shown that regardless of their age, they can hold their mentality and hold off the pressure or even use it to their advantage to winning and succeed in big tournaments. Now, Arkham's a previous World Cup qualifier. Andrew is no slouch himself, doing well in multiple different tournaments and game modes. So we'll see if these two can go ahead and take over come the NA West Grand Finals. Kaizui and Domo are two of the previous FNCS squad winners. They were both on the same squad and now look to hold the crown as an FNCS champion. Now, if you still doubt them, just know that they dropped a 20 elim win during heats. That's right, not during a pub match, during heats. These guys went absolutely bonkers and qualified in simply almost one game. So, you know, if ever there's a point where you're counting them out, I would highly suggest you look at your opinion. Mony and Toff are known around the NA West scene as some of the top players in the region. Now, if you're not from the scene, you likely have never heard of them before, but nonetheless, you should be watching out for them in the grand finals. These guys can clearly win games and are confident playing together. So make sure you're looking out for these two. Rehx and epikwhale have been arguably two of the best players during 2020 out west. Now, the only thing that really needs to be said is epikwhale has recently switched to controller and still remains as one of the best players. Rehx has proven himself time and time again, and now the two look to do the same in duos. Riversan and Falconer aren't here to play around. The quote-unquote boomers of the NA West scene are ready to dominate and show all the little kids that they're here to play and can play with the young ones. Now, they've been around for a long time and definitely have the experience to win. It's just a matter of if they can pull out all the stops in the finals. But they look to be on pace to do just that. Golden and Snacky are the dark horse of the NA West region. Not well known until they won Heat 4 of NA West, this team put themselves on the map and now look to make themselves a permanent staple in the NA West scene going into grand finals. Jay and Little are a team that most people have definitely heard of. Jay himself is known as a creative warrior. Recently, he's been able to turn those creative skills into a competitive fortitude, which makes him as strong as most of the top teams. Little is no slouch himself, and together the two have an obvious chance to take on the grand finals and maybe more. Regardless of who comes out on top, the FNCS Duo Grand Finals are going to be something to watch. Now, competitive Fortnite, say what you want about it. These heats have gotten me so excited and so pumped for Grand Finals. I can't wait. Now, thank you guys for watching the video. If you enjoy it, go ahead, support, like, subscribe, follow, do all that crap. But more importantly, watch some FNCS Finals, and I will see you guys next time.